G'day folks, Links here, and welcome back to a new episode of Nomifactory. So been a bit busy the last few days here in the world. I was hoping to be in IV by now, but unfortunately got sidetracked with other GregTech things. So unfortunately GregTech is one of those things that there tends to be a lot of rabbit holes, and unless you're well disciplined, you will just sort of randomly go off and look at other stuff. And also I've just been busy outside of the pack as well. But as you can see, we now have a full-size clean room. So this is, sorry, not full size. We have a much bigger one. This is not max size. This is 13 by 13 by 13. A max size would be 15, 15, 15. But this should be big enough. So inside, we now have the EV circuit assembler and EV precision laser engraver, so we're very, very firmly in EV now. We're actually borderline IV. The only thing I'm missing is the RTM alloy coils for the blast furnace to be able to make tungsten steel and whatever other materials we need for IV. I also have a large chemical reactor here. We will need a chemical reactor in the clean room soon enough. Mainly, I think it'll be needed for higher tier energy hatches, but it's also needed for nano CPUs. So nano CPUs are initially they'll be cheaper HV circuits, but they are also used in other things as well. But initially we'll be using them for cheaper HV circuits. We can basically make them now, I believe. Yeah, we can basically make them now that we have the EV circuit assembler. That was kind of the last piece of the puzzle. Oh, I still need to sort out epoxy, actually. They do... Where are they? Yeah, so they do still require epoxy. So I do, but that shouldn't be too difficult with the oil setup that we have. So chances are I'll have epoxy probably in the next day or so. But the way I'm doing this is I have had a couple of issues with auto crafting with these LCRs when doing both fluids and thingies. Yeah, when I've been using the one that's over there. But I mean, the way I used to do it in Nomifactory 1.6 is I used to use ingredient buffers and then just have an interface and have a basically a crafting LCR per circuit number and then use ingredient buffers. But what I've decided to do for this, because the clean room chemical reactor, from my knowledge, I could be wrong though, because I never made it past LUV in Nomifactory. I don't believe there's a huge amount of recipes that need a chemical reactor in a clean room. So this one, with all of these patterns, will probably be fine, if I'm honest. So, and if not, my plan is to just build another one above it. I can actually fit another 2 above it. So we'd be good anyway. This space here is reserved for the multi-block cutting machine, which we can't make yet because we need to be in IV. But as you can tell, this is a decent sized multi-block. And once we get this, then life gets a bit easier because upgrading the cutting machine will just require upgrading the energy hatches rather than building a new one each tier. We'll also be making the multi-block laser engraver somewhere. I'll probably put it on top of the cutting machine, to be honest. I'm not actually that sure yet, because we also where are we? Laser. Just do that. Yeah, so basically that's the laser engraver multi-block. It's not, what is that? That's a 5 by 5 by 4, or however you want to say it. It's basically, yeah, it's 4 high and 5 on each one. And then the other machine will be the circuit assembler, which again is also pretty big. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see but we should have more than enough room to squeeze all that stuff in. So yeah, this does take an eternity to clean though. So if I ever end up actually playing about, like if I have to break the structure for any reason, it takes an eternity to get clean. Even running it, I'm actually running it at IV, the clean room. And yes, you can leave the door open and it won't lose any cleanliness in Nomifactory. So yeah, so that's how our big clean room. I keep wanting to call it max size. I should have just built it max size so then I could keep calling it that. Because it was really only more plasticrete. These filter casings are very cheap at this point. So I've also scaled up DML. So the DML setup up here is completely gone. All gone. There's just this sort of little setup left over here. Mainly just to keep these dynamos going to power some auto crafting bits, and that's pretty much it. But all the DML is now over here. So we have loads of loot fabricators, or we have more loot fabricators. So we have all the thermal elements now, because we'll need those for crafting nether stars, and we'll also need them for mana, primal mana as well. So I've not scaled everything, mainly just because I'm worried about power. Some of these I mean, the spider one's not too bad because that's only like 64, but some of these are quite power hungry. The other thing is, I'm not as reliant on DML now because of, like, I do have it passively running in the background, and it is sort of the backbone per se. It is sort of the backbone, but I also get a lot from this ore processing setup as well. So it's not too bad. But yeah, we have scaled up DML, but I've really just been focusing on the models that I actually use the most of. So like slime gives me copper, skeleton gives me tin, witch gives me glowstone and redstone, and zombie gives me iron, and also rotten flesh for methane. To complement the methane that comes from my oil setup. So yeah, so that's the DML setup now. It's literally the same as the one over there. It's just bigger. So, and it's literally the same as the one over here. Again, it's just different data models, but the ideas are the same. It's just pristine matter and whatnot come out. They go into an interface to get stored in the ME network. And what I have is I have a bunch of cells. Not you. I have a bunch of cells with sticky cards in them that are partitioned to one kind of matter, of pristine matter. So then basically, when these cells fill, then the matter just backs up in the simulation chambers. But yeah, basically we've got everything that we used to have up there. So all the basic materials. I did add zombie heads because we don't need them now. I only really need them for a couple of Ender IO bits now, but later on we will actually need them. So might as well just add them now. But yeah, and then we get some... and then again, these are the thermal materials. So we need snowballs, and then the 3 thermal elemental materials, and then I just added obsidian dust as well, because it saves me having to grind obsidian out of the rock breaker setup when we can just get it directly from a data model. And then saltpeter dust, which will be used for a few things. So over here we have air distillation. So this is liquid air, which is overworld air, or void world in this case. We're actually just getting it from these gas collectors. It goes into a vacuum freezer, and then the liquid air comes out the vacuum freezer and into these quad distillation towers. So these are all running at... What are these running at, actually? These are running at EV. Yeah, these are all running at EV. So these 4 and these 4 are an amp of IV each. And what I'm doing is I'm level emitting them based on the things that I'm interested in. So nitrogen, oxygen, argon, which we'll be using for the blast furnaces, and helium, which we also use for blast furnaces. So these are level emitted, and they're currently turned off. This setup is liquid ender air. This only has 1 DT and 1 vacuum freezer because this is extremely power hungry. The vacuum freezer requires an amp of IV, and the distillation tower requires an amp of IV. And when these are both running, and a load of other stuff is running, my capacitor bank does start to struggle. So for now, we are really only interested in radon at the moment. we're level emitting radon and deuterium, because they're really the only two things we're interested in. Radon is for making quantum eyes, and when we get to IV, it'll be for quantum stars. Deuterium is for making microverse projectors. It is used in fusion, in some fusion as well, I think. But for now, it's mainly just for making microverse projectors. And microversium is needed in some of the microminers. I don't think it's any of the early tier ones. I think it's later on. So we will have to passive microversium at some point. And speaking of passive, the passive setups are a lot bigger. So my goal initially was just to passive SMDs. So basically we've just passived all the things that we need to passive SMDs, essentially. I've also passived all the foils. This is for SMDs, but also for circuits as well. So the circuits are crafted on demand, but the ingredients for them are all passived. The reason I left the circuits crafted on demand is because, well, A, I really just couldn't be bothered building a passive setup for plastic boards. And the reason that I couldn't be bothered doing that is for the basic plastic boards, the white ones. So for these, we can nearly one-tick these. I think we actually can one-tick them at IV. So yeah, I mean they do get more. Yeah, they do get more time intensive as you go on, but they're still LV, which means that they're getting so like this one at IV would be 15 seconds. No, sorry, this one at MV would be 15 seconds, I think, and then it would reduce by 4 again at H, etc. I can't do math off the top of my head, but essentially they are ludicrously fast to craft in large chemical reactors because of the perfect overclocks. So here we're passiving the fine wires that we need for SMDs. They are used in other places as well, but SMDs is the reason I did them. Nickel, zinc, ferrite rings, and and gallium arsenide again. Well, gallium arsenide used in silicon bulls, but it's also used in SMD diodes. Destabilized redstone, I just did that because we'll need it eventually. I don't need it right now. Rocket fuel will be for microminers. De-energized glowstone is for nano CPUs, and aqua regia is for the Platline. These are all running at HV. Some of them are EV machines because they draw enough power that we can use. They draw low enough power that we can use the EV machines on a HV line. But yeah, these are fast enough for now, and we can just keep cocking them up. These were here last time. So these were all here last time. And then here's our SMD setup. So at the moment we're just doing 2000. What are you running short on? Apparently you're running short on gallium arsenide, even though there's 700. Oh, I never put a storage bus on it. Oh, I'll do it. I'll hang on. I've got one. Oh yes, I have wireless AE now. So I was basically, the thing stopping me from getting wireless AE was, yeah, there we go. That's going now. The thing that was stopping me from getting wireless AE was just radon. And now that I have radon, I could make the wireless access point, and I've just shoved a bunch of wireless boosters in it. So there's that 30 wireless boosters, which gives it a range of 180 blocks. I think it is more efficient to actually build more access points and spread them out than it is to throw wireless boosters in. But, I mean, that's not a lot of power, I don't think. Yeah, that's not a lot of power. It's 77 EU. So that's not a lot of power. In GTNH, that would be quite a bit bigger. I think GTNH, because GTNH has I think it's a 10x multiplier on AE power. We have a lot more LCRs here. So this was the row we had sort of the first time, which was just like plastics and stuff. So we have hydrochloric and iron 3 chloride. These are for circuits. Again, we're crafting the circuit boards on demand, but we're passiving all the inputs. Sodium bisulfate is for the ore processing. So washing bauxite, for example, now gives us an 87% chance of getting gallium dust. So yeah, sodium persulfate is just something that you can use it for circuit boards, but there's no point using it if you have iron 3 chloride. But you can use it in ore processing to get better, different byproducts. They're not necessarily always better, but for bauxite specifically, you get gallium, and it starts at 70%, and then it's 5.8% per tier. So we are at like 87% or something when we run bauxite ore through, and then you combine that with the gallium that we can get from here as well. So we have a very optimal processing line for bauxite now. And then nitric acid is, at the moment we're passiving it for the platinum line, which we'll go look at in a second. Hypochlorous acid, so these are for rocket fuel, methanol, dimethylhydrazine, and hypochlorous acid. They're for rocket fuel, but we will need methanol for we will need methanol for high octane gasoline at some point as well. Ammonia is also for rocket fuel. I was having to have a think about that for a second there. And then phosphoric acid. Right now, the only thing that we need phosphoric acid for is luminescence, and really the only reason we need that is so we can make the extended crafting stuff, like the extended crafting table. But it is used in a few other things as well. So we need it for these components for making the extended crafting tables. But it is used in a few alloys as well. It's used in lumium. I thought it was used in signalum as well, but apparently not. In signalum, but apparently not. But yeah, it is used in lumium, which is an alloy that we will need to make eventually. But for now, I just wanted to get it set up. So then we have a stockpile. Most of these are being level emitted to 512 buckets. That's what most of those are level emitted to underneath, and it's basically the same setup as I've done for a lot of other stuff. So it's just a load of level emitters. What am I running most of them at? I'm running most of them. Yeah, some of them I'm running at IV, but most are just running at HV because they're fast enough at HV. Some of them even do stuff in nearly 1 tick at HV. So yeah, there'll be very little reason to overclock some of these, simply because they are nearly 1 ticking, even at HV. And then this is our platinum line. So the platinum line in Nomifactory is much simpler than GTNH, at least in normal mode. The hard mode Platline, at least from when I remember doing it back in 1.6, was quite similar to GTNH, but still not as big, I don't think. But yeah, so basically you get your... so you get various ores. So we have the ore processing line, not you. We have the ore processing line configured to send these purified ores back to the mainnet. And these are then sucked into this large chemical reactor, which chews through them pretty quick, even at, what's it running at? HV. Even at HV, it chews through them pretty quick. It is set to void fluids, so these ores do actually, so if we have a look, do I have it? Yeah, here we go, I can just... So all of these recipes output either sulfuric copper or sulfuric nickel solution, depending on which ore you put in. I am electrolyzing those here, but in all honesty, I'm not really fussed. So I don't want this to clog up. So I have this set to void excess fluids just so it keeps going, but we will recycle some of it by virtue of this electrolyzer. That then creates platinum group sludge, which goes into these centrifuges. Eventually, we will scale this up to use the multi-block centrifuges, but we need to be in IV to get those. And to be honest, because I'm running this passively, it will be fast enough for now. So yeah, so we have these. In all honesty, I could have actually done EV centrifuges, and it probably no, I wouldn't want to have used 8 amps of EV, not right now. So these spit out raw platinum powder, which we just electrolyze into platinum dust and chlorine. Really simple. That's what the electrolyzer right in the background is doing. raw palladium powder, which just goes into a chemical reactor. So we have it going into this LCR, and then the ammonium chloride that it spits out comes into here and gets electrolyzed, and then the all the resulting outputs go into this dual interface. And then there is, and then there's rare inert metal mixture and rarest metal mixture, which we'll go have a look at in a second, so then I don't have to come back here. And then platinum group sludge, platinum sludge residue, we're just voiding that. I'm not interested in the silicon dioxide or the gold, so I'm just voiding that. But basically, the inert metal mixture, that comes into here. And actually, does it? Let's make sure I'm not talking rubbish. Yeah, it does. Yeah, so the inert metal mixture goes into this LCR that we're standing in front of, along with some sulfuric acid, and it gives us ruthenium tetroxide, which just chemical reacts to get ruthenium, and we're voiding the carbon dioxide because shrug carbon dioxide. And then the hydrogen we just sent back to mainnet, and the liquid rhodium sulfate just goes into an electrolyzer. We're voiding the sulfur trioxide because, again, shrug, we get sulfur for free from DML and from various ores. And oxygen we just send back to the mainnet. And we also get the rhodium dust. So most of these are really simple, like 1 or 2 step processes after these centrifuges. Probably where it gets a little bit more complicated is, like, actually, no, because even, so iridium metal residue, or the, where is it, so rarest metal mixture goes into a IV LCR, to make, iridium metal residue and acidic osmium solution. So this iridium residue goes into a centrifuge, and then we chemical react it into iridium dust. So the centrifuges for that are over here. It's not very fast. This is 20 seconds at IV. But once we get IV energy hatches, we can overclock this to LUV, and it'll drop down to 5 seconds. 5 seconds? Yeah, 5 seconds. But yeah, this is where we centrifuge the iridium chloride dust, is it? Yeah. And then the iridium chloride dust goes into here to be turned into iridium dust. The osmium is also a 2-step process, but it requires a distillery. So because I'm lazy, I've just shoved a single block distillery here. It outputs hydrochloric acid, but I couldn't be bothered handling that, so we're just voiding it. And then behind this distillery is a LV, where is it? Is an LV input bus. Which takes the resulting osmium tetroxide dust and runs it through an LCR to get us osmium dust. So on the surface, it may seem like a complex line if you've not sort of done Greg Tech before. But I did the GTNH Platline before this, and yeah, this is much smaller and much nicer. I was dreading doing Platline, but I kind of had 2 options. We could have either gotten the Tier 3... where is it? We could have either gotten the Tier 3 microminer and just done this mission to get these, like, platinum... these ores that can be processed into platinum group materials. But I didn't really want to do that, because we need to do Platinum Line eventually anyway, so we might as well just do it now. And really, the LCRs can all be upgraded in place. It's really just the single blocks that we'll even need to keep upgrading or get rid of. But we'll see. For now, this will be plenty enough. But yeah, so this is the Platinum Line in Nomifactory. I'm going to cheat and set it to day just so everything looks better. There we go. But yeah, so this is the Platinum Line in Nomifactory. And then, really, I've just spent time clearing stuff off the platform, so it is getting much emptier up here. In fact, this whole setup is defunct. I've just not tore it down yet. This can all go. I've just not tore it down yet. Most of these chunks are actually unloaded now. But yeah, I just need to get like stuff cleaned up, but I still have some auto crafting stuff here I need to get rid of. Yeah, because like that's still being used. These two are still being used for rotors and some plates, because I don't have a plate solidifier down there, I don't think. And this electrolyzer is just a random electrolyzer that I shove stuff by hand into. Yeah, and you're still being used to make long rods. So yeah, I still need to clear some stuff up. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I do hope that this this format is still okay for people. I think I find it a lot better to be able to go through and explain the setups after I've kind of got them working, and obviously explain any issues that I had with them or whatever. But I've not really had any issues with the setup over there, like with the Platline setup or anything that I've done in the last few days. I've not really had any issues with. It's just been, yeah, it's just been a bit time consuming to get them built. But wireless AE has saved me so much time. Oh yes, I built this thing as well. So I have chosen to install Lazy AE2, which is a optional add-on. Nomifactory does have compatibility scripts for it to ensure that it's balanced. Lazy AE2 is mostly gated to EV, specifically the EV circuit assembler. But I made this thing, which is the ME circuit etcher. So now we don't have to use the inscriber to actually make stuff anymore. It makes AE processes in a single step. So silicon plate, gold plate, and a microprocessor makes the logic processors, for example. Same with that. You know, it does single step them. I was actually going to passive AE processors, but I actually kind of decided not to bother because I'm fairly sure this is one ticking AE processors, or at least it's very close to one tick, with 8 acceleration cards in it. So for now, I'm just going to keep using this. There is a circuit assembler recipe as well, but we can't use that yet. So there is a circuit assembler recipe which will make 16 of them in one go at IV. So 16 of them in 20 seconds. But I'm fairly sure, because this will be from base Nomifactory, I'm fairly sure that this is actually slower than this. I'm fairly sure this will make 16 circuits faster than the circuit assembler. Oh, actually, yeah, no, it definitely will. This will make 16 circuits faster than 20 seconds. So, yeah, so that's basically... So this is probably where I may still look at passiving AE processors, but I don't think there's any point. This is plenty fast enough. Where I am still slow is... The biggest bottleneck is this. I really need to actually get an energetic infuser from thermal expansion. And we can get that now that we have the thermal data model set up in DML. We actually can get that. I just have to set up the blast furnaces. I just have to set up the blast furnace for it. What have we got here? That's siliconing. Oh yeah, so we're passiving. Yeah, so here's where we're passiving nickel zinc ferrite, which is only used to make nickel zinc ferrite rings. And we are also now passiving tungsten carbide as well, which really is not used right now. I don't need it right now, but we will need it for micro miners. I think it's the tier 3 micro miner that needs it, I think. So we might as well set it up. These 2 blast furnaces are probably going to be tungsten and tungsten steel, and then then this whole chunk will be another row of more rows of blast furnaces, where I'll need to do the platinum group metals, because if we do iridium, can we make iridium yet? So iridium needs RTM alloy, so we can't make that yet. And it needs argon for the faster recipe, which we have. Palladium? I think we can make palladium. Where are we? Oh, no, yeah, we can make palladium. In fact, palladium will be really fast, because it'll get a perfect overclock. Yeah, it'll get a perfect overclock, and we'll be running it probably at either EV or IV. So palladium will be pretty fast. Osmium we cannot make yet, I don't think. Yeah, osmium needs IV energy hatches as well as RTM alloy. And I think that... Oh, ruthenium? Ruthenium we'll definitely be able to make now because it's needed for RTM coils. So yeah, ruthenium is camphol, but we can't get a perfect overclock on it. Any recipe above 2000 we can't get a perfect overclock on. Oh, sorry, any recipe above 2100 we can't get a perfect overclock on right now. But that's not too bad. And then the last one was rhodium. Can we do rhodium yet? Oh yeah, rhodium's nice and easy as well. But we don't really... I don't think we need rhodium yet. For RTM... For RTM, it literally... So we've got that. We get molybdenum from a load of ores. Tungsten, we're getting passively. I need to set up end-stone processing to give us renewable tungsten. Although I may not bother, I don't know. Microminers will probably give us more than enough. I probably don't need to set up... Because the tier 2 microminer gives you tungsten. Gives you quite a lot of tungsten, I think. And then we need ruthenium. But we don't actually need to blast furnace it. So, yeah, we can actually make this right now. We don't even... Actually, yeah, hang on. Can we just end the video with making some RTM alloy? Let's have a look. Into... It's a circuit 1, so, yeah, if we just do that... Can we literally just end the video with some RTM alloy? Oh, we can. There we go. It's 15 seconds. And then, like I said, this is like my random progression blast furnace. I need to take the... I need to turn this into a non-upple input hatch. But yeah, we should be able to get that. And then, in theory, I don't know what gas does this use? Helium. So we should be able to just shove it in there. Yeah, there we go. So, cool. I will have RTM alloy coils tomorrow then, I think. Because what else do they need? They need vanadium steel foil. I don't have vanadium steel passived, I don't think. Yeah, it's a blast furnace metal, so we'll be passiving that. Oh, that'll be really quick. Yeah, that'll be really quick. Yeah, I'll probably run... Because all those furnaces are running at EV. I think there's like one that's running at IV. And then it just needs liquid nichrome, which we already have nichrome on passive. So yeah, I'll have... and needs EV assemblers, which we obviously already have. So yeah, I will be looking to run... get RTM alloy coils. Probably tomorrow then. Yeah, so a lot of these blast furnaces will be a different color by the time I do another video. So yeah, if you've made it this far, thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I'm having a lot of fun. I'm definitely not going to finish the pack before the end of the month, but we'll see how far I make it, and then we'll decide whether or not I just keep going or whether I go back to GTNH for a bit. But yeah, I am having a lot of fun, and I hope you guys are at least getting some good detail about the pack, and I hope that I hope it looks interesting. So thanks again, and I will see you all later.